our children. I'm angry. What happened to the love? What happened to the love? We lost our love, people.
And that is a broken-hearted mother. And I'm going to show you the rest of this clip here shortly because she lost her daughter to bullying in a fight at 12 years old. So we need to talk about this because, you know, I talk about the youth and bullying, and I've made videos of that. And we're going to stay on things like this because I believe that the body of Christ is just as responsible for a lot of things within society. And I'll prove my point in my argument when you finish watching the rest of this clip.
Little girl who, Kevin, I understand is in a coma or brain dead after being bullied. What can you tell us?
Yeah, family is in the process of doing funeral arrangements as we speak. We had a chance to speak to them earlier today. This little girl, her name is Jada West. She's 12 years old. She is a student at Mason Creek Middle School, I should say, in Douglas County. She lives in Villa Rica on the Douglas County side, and she actually is someone who moved from Bowden to start the second semester here in January. So she's a new student at the school, and her parents say that she has been bullied since going to that school. She said I'm told that her dad went to the school to try to deal with some of these issues. There was an issue with a boy and there was an issue with a girl. And what ended up happening on Thursday is that she got into an argument with a girl on the bus, and then that spilled out onto the street at her bus stop. She walked down the street. There's video of this circulating on social media, and that family asked us not to show that video, so we are honoring that request. And then a fight ensues, and Jada falls to the ground. She gets back up, and she seems like she might be okay, and then she walks away, and then she falls again to the ground. Because she was near home, one of her girlfriends, the little girl, she ran to get Jada's mom. Mom comes out to the scene and sees her child on the floor, not breathing, and so they take her to Tanner Medical Center, Villa Rica. Then she's air flighted to Scottish Rite Children's Hospital. And unfortunately, she was pronounced dead on Sunday, brain dead. And now they are in the process of making funeral arrangements. Right now, they do not know what killed that little girl. They're waiting on an autopsy, but the family is putting one and one together and saying this equals two. This fight, this bullying led to this. I want you to take a listen to her mom right now.
I'm angry. We gotta teach our children. I'm angry. What happened to the love? What happened to the love? We lost our love, people. Teaching children to love. Violence is not the key. Have a heart. Have a heart. Love. The Lord wants us to love one another.
I mean, it makes your heart break. I mean, that was her only child. They were supposed to go to the movies Friday before this event took place. And I couldn't imagine losing your only child. And here she is 12 years old, and you will never get to see her grow up to graduate and go on to aspire to fulfill her dreams, get married, have children. And I mean, that is devastating. All because of bullying and that the lawlessness that we have even amongst youth. And this thing has been going on for a long time. And I've been saying it. I've worked with youth over the years. And I've been saying it for a while, that this diversion programs that we have, and all, they're not working. They're not working. They need a total overhaul because they don't work. And as far as I'm concerned, the penalties need to be much harsher for some of these youth right now, because I don't care if some type of work camps, something harder for these kids, because we have people that are these teenagers, that are young folks that are going cycling through the system. Judges just release them right back to their family. I mean, that's a slap on the wrist. I mean, they get out, go steal cars, do this, can go murder someone and get sent home the same night. I mean, crazy stuff. And so these programs are not working. You're looking at the parenting from an aspect. I mean, me and my daughter was just talking about this, like trying to brainstorm, like what are some things, because she's in hopes to be a psychologist when she finished with her schooling, and trying to look at what avenues can we do to make things better within society here. And why this message touches me a lot, because I was bullied a whole lot growing up and things, but it's a different avenue right now. We didn't have videotape cameras, and I had to hold my own, and it's not fun sitting there being fearful. Just like I could only imagine, because we moved several times when I was younger, and you go to a new bus stop and you don't know nobody. And there's always going to be someone to test you. And I can only imagine you go and everyone's got their seats, and you sit in the wrong seat or do whatever. You just got people picking all the time. And in society, unfortunately, the church is as responsible for bullying as well. They've been bullying people for a very long time. Bullying people by trying to force a religion on the other people. Bullying people. Look, look how they treat. I've talked about this, those of you that's been with me a while, how mean church folks are, how hateful they are, how they act towards people. I mean, these folks, the setup and these folks that profess to be lovers of the Lord, supposed to be the peacemakers, supposed to be the ones that show love. As this mother was talking about, where's the love? Show love, and where is the love? And a lot of churches, a lot of people, there's no love. People have been mistreated within the church and done so wrong when they thought that these family that they called family has mistreated them, that it has turned them off. You have a lot of people that have turned their backs on the Lord, turned their backs on Christianity altogether because of the hatefulness and the mistreatment and the bullying within the church. So there's enough of this bulliness, the sin of bullying to go around. And the church is part of it as well. You know, when one thing I know, this is kind of like, well, let me just say this. I was telling some younger people, when I was in school, we had what they called an activity bus. It was the best thing going, because my auntie was, she was, many, my auntie that raised me, she was working and she wasn't able to take me to practices for basketball or track and cross country, the things I did. She wasn't able to do all of that. I mean, I caught the bus when I could. Some of these things will be far away within our state, and you had to have a ride home somehow. And thank God my cross country coach was a very good man, and he made sure I always got home. But we did have activity buses. We had 2 activity buses that ran after school. One that ran like at 4 p.m. and then the last one would run like 6:30 or something. And it would take you within, a few blocks at least of your home, your neighborhood, within a radius. So that means that everybody could participate in sports if they wanted to. They have a chance. And now that this kind of things with the pay to play, where you got to pay for all of these, for the sports, and there's parents that can't afford this stuff. They don't have they got to work. They can't get their kids to anything. So after school, when many of these kids are out, they're on their own. They're out here running around lawless. So everything is broken from the whole structure standpoint. And so, and the church is broken. The church is broken. They quick to have dinners, meetups with the men, meetups with the women. And I'm not saying that that's wrong and these types of things that's wrong, but that's all they do. They're not doing any. You got churches only open. I mean, they only open a large enough congregation, and they're only open a day out of the week or so this. They don't even have, some of these churches don't even have a Sunday school where people can learn or actual, doing any other things within the community. It's just things to edify themselves is what they're doing. Just coming together, edifying themselves, not doing anything to make a difference within the community. Not many people haven't even tried, because some of these people that are running these churches and running people that are out here that are doing things, you need to go get some education. Go learn, do something. I remember I mentioned to you that I volunteered with the 988 Crisis Center. That I've given my time with that because it doesn't cost you anything. And it will show you, even though I've served as a chaplain, even though I've been in the ministry for a long time, I could always learn something new. And it teaches you how to have conversations with those going through trauma-style events. And people are out here, they don't know how to tackle so many things. And instead of trying to learn it and get an understanding of it, some of them think they know everything, or they refuse to do anything. And now you've got these young people, and I've seen it over and heard it over and over from them about the hypocrisy coming from mama or grandma or whatever when they set up and act holy around everybody on Sunday mornings and things. But then you hear the stories. I heard the stories, and many of you may know people like that. And you hear the stories of how they really act and how they treat them from behind closed doors. And then when many of these kids finally get a chance to get away from home, they go buck wild. You wonder why they're out there and they're hanging out with some dope dealing boyfriend. All of a sudden, then you better wait a minute. I taught them better. I was, all you did was Bible bash them. You didn't really show them the love. You didn't spend time with them, and now the streets have picked it up. And no wonder. And you think that you were doing some good, but in actuality, you were doing more harm. You got to have a balance when raising kids. Yet they not to be your best friend, as many people, as you know, that's a danger, being best friend. But at the same time, they need to know that your mommy, that your daddy, or your grandma, and that you do have a red line. But at the same time, you have to be able to have an open line of communication if you can, and try to love them and show them and put into them, make them feel wanted. A lot of these people, I've seen it over the years. They are so obsessed with trying to be holy that they sit there and forget about their loved ones, their family. They focus more so thinking that they have to go through all of these works and be involved in every single thing within the church. And their families suffer. I know somebody specifically, his wife, even though, I didn't agree with it at the time, and I was much younger when this was going on. She left her husband. He was a deacon. She left him because she said that he just spent too much time at the church. And I remember thinking, like, how many women would love a man like that? But he was obsessed with the church to where she was neglected with the young kids. And I just remember her crying and telling me, I'm going to leave him. He's not responding to me. I've tried to talk with him and blah, blah, blah. And she ended up leaving him. She left him. And see, that's the same way with your kids. That's the same. Now, sometimes you can do everything right, as we talked about. But many times that you could do everything right, train them up in the way to go. You can do everything right, and they still can go off on the wrong path. But, but there's times that, that you, as a parent, that did what we see now. You see this bullying that's going on with many of these parents. They need to be held accountable in some kind of way. And then at the same time that you have the world. We know the world's a bully. America's a bully. We love to go around and bully people. We love to show off and bully people, and our leaders in high places love to bully. So these are the examples. The kids see all of this. They see it coming from the leaders, from world leaders. They see it coming from that. They see it coming from within the church, and they see it coming from within households. And so they take this thing out, and a lot of them have displaced anger, don't know how to channel that, and they get out here and act the fool. And for somebody to lose their lives, or somebody wanting to take their own life at the age of 10, 9, 11, 12, how sad and how angry it makes me. And how do you think the Lord's going to feel about things like this? That the treatment of the children, and that the irresponsibility of the churches and the leaders and people in communities, how people have failed these kids. And we've got, and that's what I talk about. We've got we've got so much work to do as a community, as a church. There's so much to do. And you don't have time to be wasting your time listening to, as we talk about on this channel, these old false teachers and them telling you about the next something going on up in Hollywood, or something happening within the Vatican or the White House and all of that. That ain't doing no communities and stuff like these types of stories any good at all. And shame on anybody that thinks that is the way to go, because I'm telling you, you follow people that's teaching that silly nonsense like this, you are totally outside of God's will for your life, out of his will. You're totally off track. And, and if you are for you to sit there and think that the body of Christ is about trying to strong arm people and trying to force things upon people, shame on you as well, because God has given us free will. He has given us a free will to make choices of our own without being forced on anything. And he wants us to love him unconditionally and he wants us to love him with all our might, heart, and soul. And that's what we intend to do. Are we perfect? No, but we should be striving to do better. And as people, and even young people, and if you are a young person, you just come across this video, you need to strive to do better. So it's time, because this thing is all messed up. And may that young soul, it just made her mother have peace, and any other mothers and family members and people out there that are dealing with issues like this, with their loved ones being bullied or death or anything, or attempted where folks have taken their lives. To the next video, Evangelism for God, the channel where we talk about issues the church run away from, tackle Satan and his tactics, punch him right in between the chops. My name is Maurice Braxton. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.